Today I want to speak about the ego. Hear the jackhammer? That's because it's hammer time. And I'm finna put the pain to certain demons or misconceptions or bits of false pride that lie inside of our beings that are not harmless. Welcome to the Foundation for Elevation. And I am Leon, and I'm based in Cleveland, Ohio. And like my shirt says, it says the guards, and that's short for guardians. And we were awarded 4 statues back in the day when we, the people that had stated claim in building Cleveland, when a lot of the things that was coming to transport from across seas to America to get them shipped across country on stagecoach, because trains wasn't around then, and a lot of the things were getting robbed, and Cleveland found a way to take it a back channel up higher and take it through Michigan all the way out west so people can get their supplies. And the people that were thankful across seas gifted us those 4 statues on the Carnegie Bridge to tell us thank you. And they labeled us the guardians of transportation. Well, now, I am the guardian of certain transportations, albeit not physical, tangible, but ever so more valuable. Knowledge reigns supreme. Peace to KRS-One. And I want to speak about our ego and pride, because it's people with hundreds and sometimes thousands of years of knowledge that may coerce us or guide us into certain ways of life. They may build our ego into carrying ourselves in a certain way, for which we have partaken upon this way of eating, this way of living life, or this holiday, and we will hold it close and form a whole identity around it. And then therefore certain individuals, businesses, companies, entities are able to build on to that ego, because through that ego, through that false pride that we have in holding this thing up, this way of life up as the Holy Grail, as the ultimate pinnacle of being, an extravagant individual. This is a social accomplishment if you're able to, whatever it may be. And they make an image around it, whether it's flowers, whether it's decorating your home in a certain manner. And we must understand, where is it leading us to? What is it taken away from? See, we have not been curious or inquisitive enough to look deep within. Just like when we, much respect to Monique, the African American queen that was a comedian, where she was guided to lead the way to the big and beautiful movement. And this time today, we can clearly understand the various angles that, were able to be injected into the psyche and ego of our ladies, of people in our community. And this was not the only injected guidance or ego PO that was injected into us about this type of subject, but this was a major one. Just like we see that many hip hop artists would talk negative stuff and it would affect many men. Do people understand how that indoctrination of the ego that Tupac Shakur blasted into the consciousness of men? You know how many men I know that lost their lives because of his ideology? And I'm not saying it's Tupac's fault, but they were caught under the witchcraft, the Pied Piperism, if I can just state that. It was a way to mystify the psychological, workings of a human being, and they were guided to do acts, to partake upon actions that will lead to the end of their lives. It's something like a plague. Just like Monique, it was delivered to big and beautiful, be comfortable with yourself, boom, boom, boom. So we just didn't care anymore, especially my ladies in the black community. I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna keep eating, and I'm just not gonna I'm not gonna be uncomfortable with whatever size my body gets stretched to. And I'm not being, disrespectful. But when we as men are able to admit that going to jail is beneath the real man, we're able to hold accountability for that in a day as today. And it's time for our ladies to hold certain accountabilities within our culture so that we can evolve and develop past these generational curses. And this is one of them. But we all must conquer so many different bits and pieces of ego and false pride. Because when we have these egos, we are, even if it's just eating the great things at lunch, where we working in our co-workers and we have built the ego around getting the most, or at least a satisfactory tasting expensive meal for lunch or evening. And we often brag about this, even though we are wasting $120, $150 a week on lunch and dinners. I cannot believe the things we could have created, because we have built a sense of false pride around getting hair weaves, having our nails done, when the man or anybody else really don't even care about you having this hair weave or nails. And quite frankly, many men don't really like it. And the false imagery is that we dress and do these things so we can feel good. No, we dress ourselves up in this hair weave, nails, fresh kicks, Jordans, so that the people's perception viewing us can hold us on a certain social status. This is not debatable. Not in my book, and I will never debate it. I'm gonna say my opinion, and the ones that get it, the ones that it touches their spirit, will change their ways, save more money, get with other people that want to build, and teach their children a better way to build a greater day in tomorrow. See, all of these indoctrination of building egos around holidays, spending money, being a vicious consumer, which is probably our greatest generational curse in the black community. Being a consumer. Consumerism is, people around the planet is lining up to build some type of something to market to us. God forbid to come in our neighborhood and open up any type of store and get any type of poisonous chips in there so I can get all your little children in here to buy it. All day, every day. Yeah, bring that little car. Our children can't even count the money. They don't even know what's getting ciphered off the card, and they just going in there. And the Arabs, they cheating them out their money. Cause I go in there, they try to cheat me. Cause I don't talk sometimes, and I was going in different Arab stores sometimes in the last 2-3 years. Cause I really didn't, but now I have been to get little things for people and stuff. And quite often they try to cheat me. When the numbers and it come like at a different point, I know I'm going off subject, but I think it's relevant because our ego has got tied into going to shop at these places. And our children are getting well versed in being a greater version of consumer than us. Consuming all this food, partaking up on this diet. And we got the nerve to talk about, well, diabetes running my family. You know, we big boned it. No, our diet is trash. Our physical fitness level and the way in which we partake upon taking care of ourselves is a generational curse. Straight up. And I mean this out of love. I ain't trying to march right now. Hear me though. Hear me. Hear me when I say that all these things that have been, these ways of life that have been hammered home, even they got our friend circles and families to indoctrinate different shaming tactics. If you ain't got to do this, you ain't cool, man. To guide us into building an ego and wanting to get these things to fuel the ego. It's all a means of self-deception. We allowing our ego to be inflated with things that's not going to help us build anything, that's going to create a level of self-deception that leaves us in a not so great place. Where and when do we begin to take steps to recognize this? First, it's a step backwards. Let's take a step backwards and cease to fulfill these different egos. Take one step backwards and reassess our situation, reassess our lives, and the way in which we live our lives on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. Are we doing ourselves even 1/4 of the service that we could? Truthfully, be truthful about it. I know I don't wish to even come to events and go back and forth with people that are going to support these things. But I love for you to hear my perspective, and I'm going to move on. Because to go back and forth with someone who wants to fight for this system and fight for the deception and fight for the programming, the matrix that's been put on us, and you know it's wrong. You know we're not living our life nowhere near we could, and you want to support being unhealthy. I don't want to go back and forth with you. I love for you to hear. The seed may grow next year, in 5 years, cool. But I'm not finna try to beat a dead horse. If your mind is set on that, you ain't got no business coming to me trying to go back and forth with whatever knowledge you're talking about. Because you either trying to cause disruption, or you like, either way you working for the negative forces. You being taken over like in the Matrix. You are a clone. You at that point you are a person that is getting took over like a puppet. You want to support falsehood? You want to support something that's being indoctrinated into us to create us and turn us into something that's a tool for usury. The time is ended, and when anyone comes against me, you're somebody that's working against me, and one of these evil entities that are profiting from our people is finding a way to give you a little piece of money to go against me. And then our people don't speak to these people, shame these people, because we damn well we need change. We need change in our culture. And I'm speaking to the Black, African American, Asiatic community. We need change. And you're going to sit back and be friends with people that's stopping any more momentum that I come with, that's going against anything, that talk negatively behind my back, and you're going to continue to be friends with them? Make a declaration. No two-facism, if that's a word. I make up a lot of little terms and words, but let's appreciate the gift that our higher power has given us, a temple, a consciousness to elevate to certain levels, to reach real sovereignty. Yes. So I want to say I love you, and let's kill these false prides that lie so deep in these holidays, that lie so deep in our culture. It's giving too many segues to tap into the consumerism that we have become as a Black community. Let's stop being a conduit to consumerism through our false pride and ego. Peace.